All right, let me fix your whole life, business, performance with one law. This is the one thing that fucks everybody up. This is why everyone's so fucked up. This is why everybody's so impatient. This is why everybody's so fearful. This is the reason why you're so far away from where you want to be. Even if you've achieved a high level of success, you still don't feel like where you want to be. You still don't feel like you're the guy, you're the person that you know you're supposed to be. It's all through this one law. So when clients come to me and they work with me, these guys are 7 to 8 figure business owners. You know, they're successful in their own right, but they still fall victim to this very law, this thing. And it's the number one thing that changes everything for them. And if you guys follow me on my other socials, you see the crazy results that I've gotten from my clients in the last 4 to 6 weeks. I've had Tej hit high performing numbers in his fitness business, doing 125 grand per month. I've had Neil in his eight figure construction business have one of the biggest deals signed and contracted that he's ever done, only 6 weeks after working with me. I had Andrew, who hit his record revenue month, 300K. Joss, 22-year-old, hit his record revenue, 67K to 115K. Like, all crazy. And there's more. And I'd probably put, if I had to put it down to one thing, I'd put it down to this. This is the biggest change that they make. And then the success and the growth, it all comes as a byproduct. But the reason why everyone's so fucked up and everyone's held back so much is because you take all of your validation, as in your self-worth, you derive all of that. You take all of it from outcomes, meaning you only feel good, you only feel confident, you only feel driven and motivated when things are going your way, when you have physical evidence to back it up. If you rely on physical evidence for your self-worth to back up who you want to be and who you believe yourself to be, you need external factors to go your way, you are fucked, my friend. You're always going to be held back and you're always going to be conditional. So your self-image and your results and just your enjoyment of life, business and performance and of the process is always going to be like this. You're going to be like a feather in the wind, just being blown around by external outcomes, the market, your sales, what people say, how your team performs, everything. You're never going to be stable. And you're going to be conditional. Sometimes you're going to be the person who you know you're supposed to be, but not always. This is what holds you back. When you derive all validation from physical outcomes, you limit yourself and you actually push yourself further away from where you want to be. So if you need external things to go a certain way, you're conditional. You live with conditions. Imagine it in fitness, because I like to use fitness because everybody understands it. It's a very simple concept to understand. But let's say a fat guy who wants to get in shape, who wants a six pack, or he just wants to be in shape, he wants to get healthy. Imagine if this guy, well, you don't have to imagine because this is the reality for all people that are out of shape. But if they wanted to get in shape, what's the one thing that would prevent them from being consistent? Because we all understand that in fitness, if you're just consistent, if you go to the gym a couple times a week and you stick to a nutrition plan, you're going to get in shape. You're going to reach the end destination of fitness. Guaranteed 100%. There's no doubt in your mind. There's no doubt in my mind. We know that to be true. So if they know 100%, if they stuck to that with consistency, that they will reach the destination of fitness that their heart truly desires, then why aren't they consistent? Why don't they just do it? Even though they kind of have guarantees. It's like fucking science. So why don't they do it? And the reason why they don't do it is because they derive all validations. They take all their motivation. They allow their mood and motivation levels to be determined by physical outcomes. Did the scale move? Did they see a change in their physical body? And most of us understand that isn't always how it goes. They might go through periods of stagnation where things aren't moving on a physical level. But this is the biggest mistake. Things are always moving, just not on a physical level. That's why if you only operate on the physical level, you limit yourself. As you do understand that only 1% of reality, 1% of reality is what you can see, touch, smell, like the physical realm, tangible things. The other 99% of reality, and this is science. This isn't some like spiritual type shit. I mean, it's both, but it's backed by science. Neuroscience will agree with this too. 99% of reality is in the unseen. It's in like, it's energy. Like think about the things that they exist and you know they exist, but you can't see, touch or smell them, like fucking like Wi-Fi. So if you understand that physical results that you can tangibly see and are aware of, if you was to base your life and your validation and your self-worth from that, how limited are you? What if you was to base and get your validation from the 99% of the unseen? Just having, that's what faith is. Having faith that things are moving, things are changing for you, but you just can't see it. You can maybe feel it, but you can't see it. So this is the problem with a guy that's going to the gym, trying to get in fucking shape, and they need validation on a physical level to then go to the gym the next day. I'm only going to go to the gym the next day if I can see myself losing weight, if I can see the numbers on the scale going down. Well, we all know that's not always going to be a reality. So if you are always controlled, if your mood, if your internal state is controlled by what you see, then how the fuck could you ever create change? Think about all the people that created huge change in their lives with zero physical evidence first. What if you were poor and you wanted to be rich? How the fuck would you go from poor to rich? Because you look around you and all you see is poverty. So how could you create riches? How could you create abundance for yourself when physically you have zero evidence that you're going to get it? You have to look past physical outcomes. You have to create a self-worth and an identity past outcomes. No, I don't care how poor I am. I don't care if I have no money. I don't care that I'm drowning in debt. I am rich. I'm abundant already. My self-worth is no smaller. I'm no less inferior to a millionaire, even though I had no physical evidence. Muhammad Ali, I said I was the greatest before I knew I was, without physical evidence. Michael Jordan, you have to expect big things from yourself before you can achieve them, without physical evidence. But you guys cry and throw your toys out the pram and allow yourself to feel so inferior when things don't go your way. Now you're fucked. Because now you're not going to move properly. You're not going to act properly. You're not going to take risks. You're not going to drive. You're not going to be ambitious. You're not going to be authentic. Because all your validation is derived from physical outcomes, what people say, what people think about you. What if none of this shit is going your way? And what if this shit ain't going to go your way for the next 5 years? You're going to feel like a no one for 5 years? You're going to feel inferior? You're going to just be weak for 5 years? Is that who you are? Is that how little you respect yourself? So this is the problem, and this affects people of all levels. You know, even people in business. You know, you go in and meet someone who's further ahead in business than you, makes more money than you, and you just go inferior. Like money is what dictates your self-worth. So you put people on a pedestal, and this is where imposter syndrome comes from. This is why you feel like a no one. This is why you act like a no one. This is why you don't believe that you can take it to another level. It's why you believe it's not possible for you. Because you have a low concept of self, because you don't have enough physical evidence to back it up. Then you'll stay trapped and you'll stay as that character. Guys, there's a drill that I do with my kids. Now this is how important this is to me, and to make sure that I instill this into my kids. There's a drill I do with my kids. So professional footballer, played in the Premier League. I'm 32, they're 6 and 7. So we do a drill where we play 1v1. They play against me 1v1. I put a goal behind me and they have to run at me and try and score. I give them no success whatsoever. I block every single shot. Like, they don't score. Complete dry spell. They've never scored. And I make them do it about 50 times in one session. They're going to run at me 50 times each. And my goal here is to make them instill an internal state, to instill an energy, to instill a character and a behavior that remains no matter how much or how little success they get. So what I'm looking for and what I want to see is, are they running at me? Are they trying with the same level of conviction, with the same mindset, with the same drive, with the same energy, with the same belief as they had on the first one, than on the 50th one? So on the 50th time where you've had zero success, no goals, you've seen no signs of progression, can you still maintain your character? Can you still maintain the character that you had on dribble number 1? On dribble 50, or has your heart been compromised? Is your heart hurt? Are you so disappointed that your head drops, that you don't believe in yourself anymore, that you now start doubting your abilities? You start doubting whether this game is even for you. Is that you? Is that who you are? One of the best traits of highly successful people is that they're stubborn as fuck. They just refuse to lower their standards despite how things are going. Despite the little progression that they've made, they just hold on to this identity. That's why people call them delusional. That's why delusion is so powerful, because you have to have delusion. If you have a vision in your mind of what it is that you want, the next level that you want to get to, but it's never happened yet in physical life, you have no evidence in your whole bloodline, no one else in your family's ever done it, no one from your fucking area has ever done it, but you want to achieve this thing that you've never done. How could that ever be a reality if you only looked for physical evidence to prove to yourself that you can do it? You'd never create it. So once you have this vision in your mind, the only ingredient that it really needs is belief, and for you to maintain the belief and the idea that it's possible for you. So then you continue taking the action. Just like the fitness guy. Fitness is here, he's here, fat guy. All he has to do is maintain the idea of him being fit long enough to have him continue taking the right action, inspired action to get to here, and it's done, guaranteed. But you don't believe it's guaranteed in your business. Why the fuck wouldn't it be if you was to maintain the same character, with the same actions, with the same beliefs, with the same emotions, until you actually got to that end destination? Exactly the same as fitness. There is no real difference, all the same. But it's just because, that's why I like to use the fitness analogy, because it's very simple. Everyone agrees and understands that if you just had the right inspired action for a long enough period of time, 100% you'd get to where you want to be. Same as everything else. But can you maintain the frequency, the vision? As soon as you allow your belief to go, as soon as you start doubting yourself, you break up the process of manifestation. That's what manifestation is. Manifestation is having an idea in your head, maintaining it for a long enough period of time, acting out on that idea, creating the actions, the aligned actions that's going to create that outcome until it materializes into your physical life. So on a mental level, time doesn't exist. If you want to think about yourself being rich and being where you want to be, it's done. No time. Time is an illusion on the mental realm. Time is an illusion on the mental realm. That's why you can go from being poor to being rich in your head, like that. No time whatsoever. You can go from being in England to Dubai in your head, like that. But on the physical level, in physical reality, there's physical limitations. So it does take time. It takes time to materialize. It takes time to go from rich to poor, England to Dubai. So once you have the idea in your head, it's done. It's done. The intentions have been set. Now, the only thing that's going to prevent you from realizing that reality is if the idea in your mind loses belief and conviction before it has time to physically materialize in physical reality. This is why you have to detach from outcomes. You can't be attached to outcomes, because you're going to keep breaking up the manifestation period. Because if you have this idea in your mind, I believe in it, but then you see failure. Now I don't believe in it. The belief is gone. The conviction's gone. The main ingredient for manifestation to materialize is gone. So if you imagine your higher self, and now in my program, I get people to create a higher self. I call it the character creation sheet, where we create a character for you, 10 out of 10 version of you, the person who has everything that you want. You have to understand that the reason why this character has everything that he wants, that you want, it isn't because the universe just gave it to them randomly and now they're confident and now they're courageous and now they're this higher version of you because they got given a bunch of fucking stuff. No. That's in reverse. The reason why that person has all the things you want is because they maintain the character of who they believe themselves to be long enough for the world to reinforce who they are with the stuff. That's how reality works. The universe is constantly asking you questions. Who are you? What do you want? I want to be rich. I want to be abundant. I want to get to 7 figures, 8 figures in my business. It doesn't just say, okay, here you go. It asks you again, next day. And you're continuously answering with your internal beliefs, with your internal state. So it's, okay, he wants to be rich. Okay, let me give him a tax bill, 100 grand tax bill. Still want to be rich? Are you still that rich guy you said you was? Or are you, oh shit, lack, hold back, hoard, go into my shell, scared of money, scared to spend, scared to invest in myself any further? You crumbled. You wasn't able to maintain who you truly are. So your higher self, it isn't about what he has, it's who he is. Would you rather be broke than to break your character? Like, just refuse to fear. I refuse to fear about money. I refuse to go into lack. Take everything from me. I'd rather be broke than to be so scared about money. I'd rather have nothing. Fucking take it. And I'll do what I have to do. I'll do whatever. If you can maintain that, if you can maintain a high self-image, a high concept of yourself, stay abundant, stay courageous, believe in yourself, remain with conviction, no matter how badly things go, then you're ready. When you get to the point where more money won't even change you, then you're ready for it. When you get to the point where that relationship won't even change you, then you're ready for it. You're not ready for freedom, you're not ready for money, you're not ready for your next level until it wouldn't even change you that much. That's when you're ready. Until then, you're too attached. Because this is how your mind works. And this is why you fear so much. And this is why you're so worried. And this is why you don't set boundaries in your business. This is why the clients that you work with take the piss and the prospects take the piss. Is because you're so attached. You're so attached to a sale. You're so attached to the money that you break your character. And you put your hand, you go onto your knees and put your hands up and you make money your God. Whenever money is your God, whenever physical outcomes is your God, then you're a slave. When you detach and you make your God, your internal state, your character of who you know you're supposed to be, despite what you have on a physical level, then you're in control of life. Then you're in control of reality. Until then, you're a slave. This is how your mind works. If you're so attached to an outcome, it needs to be this way. I can't have it any other way. It needs to be this way. When you operate like that, then what happens is you create an ego. You create a self-image. A self-image is who you believe yourself to be, who you believe other people perceive you as. And it might be, I'm someone that has to succeed. So whenever the idea of you not succeeding comes across your mind, there's huge panic, huge fear. You get this pit in your stomach. I'm not progressing. Therefore, I'm gonna be exposed as a fraud. This is when you get huge amounts of fear, as if you're about to die. And I don't know if you've ever been in or anywhere near like a life-threatening scenario, but I've been in Dubai over the last month or so with missiles going over my head, and what I realized is that the fear that you feel when your actual real life is under threat is no different to the fear that you guys feel when you're so attached to a sale and losing a sale and not making money. It's the same state. And that's because your ego feels like it's gonna die when you don't have things go your way. So it reacts as if your actual life is under threat. It's like your ego is like its own frequency, it's like its own entity, just like your actual life is. So your mind doesn't know the difference between your actual real life and just your ego. That's why whenever you perform, whenever you talk on stage, you feel like you're gonna fucking die because your ego is under threat. That's what it feels like. And that's why you feel like that. So if you always feel like that, if your ego is based on an identity that needs to have things go a certain way, then you're always gonna have your mind go to that fear. Whenever you're trying to perform, fear of dying, fear of failing. So you're never in the moment, you're never present. You can never just really be your higher self. You can never focus on actually what you want in your next level. Your mind's always gonna be like, oh, but Kev, we're gonna fail, you need to pay attention. You need to fear, you need to worry, you need to doubt. Because it's worried that if you don't pay attention to it, it's actually gonna happen. So it robs you of your presence, it robs you of your skill, it robs you of all your talent that you have in the moment. So this is why you have to kill that specific ego. You can never kill your ego fully. As long as you live in this physical reality, you're gonna have an ego. You have to have an ego. So you have to create an ego that isn't rigid, that's flexible, that doesn't depend on how things go. You need to create an ego that don't give a fuck about how things go. And then your mind leaves you alone. It doesn't fear about losing anymore, about going to zero, about failing, about things falling apart, because its identity is not based off that. And when you free yourself from that, then you get all your energy, all your life force, all your resources left available to you. So it's like, now what do you want to do? We've solved this problem now. I don't need to think about it. I don't need to fear anymore. Now where do you want me to focus? Now life gets interesting. Now you're in a position to create whatever it is the fuck you want. Now you have the paintbrush. You have control over your life and reality. And now you can just focus on what you prefer rather than what you think you need to desperately think about so you don't fail. This is when everything changes for you. So when you can detach from outcomes, this is the power of detaching. When you can detach from outcomes, you free your mind to start creating whatever the fuck you want.